Hello, welcome back to the Iconic Wealth for Women podcast. Today, I'm going to take you slightly off track on this podcast because I want to talk to you about a specific event that happened. So I call it Alex Hormozi's plot twist. Now, you may or may not know him of him. You may or may not have heard of him, but basically, he wrote a really successful book called $100 Million Offers, and he's just recently gone through a book launch where he's now done a book launch of 100 million leads. He's an incredible marketer. He's a fabulous business owner. His business is now is all around acquisition and growing businesses and expanding them. But he's an incredible marketer, and a lot of people tuned into it. I believe initially I thought he had 200,000 people on his book launch event, but I've been told it got up to 500,000 with people tuning into his YouTube, as well as obviously watching the replays and things like that. So, Alex, like I said, I got to know him through creating $100 million offers, because I love the way he thinks about his offers. He goes into a lot of detail. He's very methodical in relation to reverse engineering a lot of the process, which is what I talk to my clients about. So, I've always followed along, and I loved his launch he did. So, he recently did a massive event around his book launch. So he'd been promoting it, he'd used affiliate partners to promote it as well. And he held this big launch event. And why do I want to talk about it? Well, there's a couple of things I want to talk about because what he did was he did it live in the studio, so it was pretty awesome. You know, you saw everyone's face. It was a huge event, and he basically started his selling process. So he's a master of his own craft. That's what I love, is that he took you through his selling process. He actually delivered his value stack. He went through the process of why you need it, what's going on, why leads are so important. And basically, if you get a chance to watch it, go back and watch a replay. I'm not going to talk too much about what he did in the event. But he's obviously a professional. You know, he basically got loads of people on live. He got the excitement, the build up. He did a very, very slick sales presentation. He added all the value and just stacked it and stacked it and stacked it so that basically people were in the room asking to hand over their credit cards to him. We want to buy no matter what you're selling, we want to buy. So it was an incredible process to go through to watch him do his book launch. And he would have done thousands of dollars worth of sales, if not hundreds of thousands. Everyone on the thing would have bought at least one book. I can't imagine that they didn't, because what he did at the end, so there was a couple of plot twists that happened. So, firstly, he had obviously everyone thinking it was going to be a huge value program reduced down to a affordable price, and actually instead what he did was he basically gave it all away. He gave everything away for free. Now, he's in a business situation that he can do that. So there's a couple of things that you need to think about here. There's a lot of big industry gurus at the moment who are giving away all their knowledge for free. Now, just because they do that doesn't mean that you have to, because it could send you broke. So just be aware of the process he took you through worked for him because of the stage of his business. So I often talk to people around their own journey, their own customer journey. Where are you at in your business right now? And is it effective for you to do that? Now, it may not be. So, what I want you to do is remember he is building clients up for his future. So, it works for him in his business, but it may not work for you. So that's the first learning of it, is just think about where are you at in your business. Doesn't mean you have to give everything away for free. And I've seen a couple of big industry players do it, especially after COVID. They come out. A lot of the courses they were selling for thousands before are not selling because courses and information are not what people want. People want transformation and implementation. So they're giving away the information for free, but they're still charging a lot of the times for implementation, accountability, community, all that sort of thing. So you've got to understand the bigger process of what happened in relation to that, or you'll just send yourself broke. So that's the first plot twist that happened. The second plot twist that happened in this process, and why it's so important to you, because I want you to learn lessons from people in the marketplace around how you could think about about these sorts of things in your business. You need to understand people's buying psychology. If you want to build an online business in any way, shape, or form, so you can have more cash flow, so you can invest in wealth as you go along, you need to grow your cash flow. And like you said, you know that I love online businesses because online businesses give you big leverage. You only have to look at this event. Where else could you get 200, 300, 400,000 people tuning into you in one go? That's the power of the internet. That's the power of being online, is the leverage capability, especially in workshops and events and things like that. But the second plot twist he did at the end when he gave it all away for free was he then played back on the emotional side of his buyers. And it was really powerful because basically what he said was, I wanted to look after the people that I knew needed a hand up. So you get all the information for free. And he's been doing his book launch and his chapters on his podcasts for free. So if you want to go and tune into his book for free, go and look at his podcast. So he's building people watching his podcast for free, and he's using the chapters in his book as podcast episodes. So basically he said, now I've given you it for free, I've given you the courses for free. He then played on the emotions of the other buyers on the platform, and he talked about helping those less fortunate as they got access to the audiobook and training for free, but to those that are more financially secure, buying books for other people to pay it forward. And so he had a book stack of one book, three book, and I think it was 10 books you could buy. And so, but the goal was that the people that could afford to would buy the books, and then they would give them away for free to other people, whether to the audience, and to give everyone a hand up. Because if you follow a lot of his processes, he talks about lead generation. But one of the things that I love, he talks about a lot, and I've gone through the course now and gone through some of his content, is the direct outreach. So a lot of people talk to me about making their first client sales, or if they're stuck for clients, how do you make sales? And the thing I loved about Alex's process was he talks about systems and automation and process afterwards and running traffic, but not until you've got your first round of sales. You can easily do six figures without that. And that's through direct outreach and conversations, which is what I talk to a lot of my clients about. Whenever they're struggling, whenever they want to move forward, or whether they've got a new product or service to launch, I go back into the old sales methods, because the simple thing is a lot of people overcomplicate their business. They try and build funnels, they try and create low end products, they try and create all this recurring revenue, but they haven't made their sales yet. They haven't got the budget to sustain that. So what happens is they go broke doing it, and they end up in this continual struggle mode. So if you're in that situation, I want you to think about going into his course and going into the direct outreach process, because again, he talks about directly outreaching to 100 people a day. For me, that's pretty huge. I would start with 10 a day and get into the habit of doing it, but start conversations, because conversations start sales. There's no two ways about it. And if you do it strategically, so I get a lot of my clients to start to look at who's commented on their post, who's engaged with their webinars if they're doing them, who's shown any interest in the work that they've done. Start those conversations first. That's your warm clients. That's the warm contacts, connections. So you should have a running process of your clients. So you're tracking them and you're tracking your conversations. My clients love me because I make them create a spreadsheet where they track all their conversations. And I do it because when you think about it, how many clients do you actually need to hit your target, hit your first target? So, say you want to get to your first six figures. Let's say you've got a program. Let's do 1,500 quid, because that's probably on the cheaper side of what I work with. So we're talking 100,000 divided by 1,500 is 66 clients. So that's how many clients you need for the whole year. So 66 divided by 12 is about 5 clients a month. Now, if you're good at closing, or if you're good at talking to people and making sales, you could probably start 10 conversations and close those 5 clients. If you're talking to a warm audience. So I want you to go through that process. If you haven't gone through it, grab the free course Alex has got, and he shows you the process that he does around going out and starting these types of conversations, the direct outreach. Because again, it just becomes a bit of a numbers game. The more conversations you have, the more likely you are to convert clients. So back to his plot twist. So he did this plot twist where he helped the less fortunate, he got them to basically buy, and he did thousands of pounds worth of book sales were made that day. Our books are on their way. I got sucked in. I played it forward. I'm going to give two people a copy of the books, as well as myself. But even though I love a good watching a good marketer in action, he was totally at his mastery level. But really, it's the true message behind what he did. So bear with me. I just want to share with you because obviously that was the plot twist in the process he did. But what I want you to seriously think about, so I have conversations with clients every day where they go, "Oh, I don't know if I need a course. I don't know whether I need a program. I wouldn't know what to do or how to do it." And if you're a coach or service based business owner listening to me, because that's who my main audience is, I want you to really consider here exactly what he did because the big plot twist isn't about the marketing process itself. Because what I see is a lot of coaches that don't build and service providers all the time is they don't create these online assets. Now, online assets like a short course or a book, which is what he's just done, and Alex demonstrated the true power of that. He's got probably over another 200,000 people onto his list from affiliate partners because those partners are able to market out the book for him. They're able to share that really easily. It's a simple process for them to get people onto your list with. It's not a big sell. They don't have to do any hard selling for you. All they're doing is bringing people into a book launch. So it's a great way to work with affiliate marketers to build your audience faster. So you get in front of other people's audiences. But the most important thing was the assets he created, because this is where I see people missing a trick is that they don't understand that by creating these types of assets, whether it's a course or whether it's a book, is what you're doing is you're educating your clients for future use. So he set up a win-win value deal today in the fact that if you follow his process, you're likely to grow your business. But that's not why he's doing it. Why he's doing it is potentially you will become his client 12 months down the track, 2 years down the track. So he's nurturing a whole bunch of potential clients for his main business. Now, his main business is acquisitions of other people's businesses. He can help you take your business from a million to 10 million, 20 million very fast. So, what he's doing is building a lot of know, like, and trust factor. He's nurturing people through that process. So, he's using the assets not for the asset sales, he's using it to secure his next round of clients. And I want you to really think about that. If you're a coach or a service based business owner, where are you creating assets that nurture your clients? You know, people laugh at a book, but a book nurtures clients. It brings them into your process, and then you can start to have conversations with them. So, building these types of assets builds the know, like, and trust factor. It adds value to your clients' lives, and ideally, it helps them get some sort of result. So, I'm currently working with a financial planner stroke legal professional who we're building out a course to educate people around wills and estate planning on how these cheap wills that everyone is offering is actually doing you a disservice. So we're going to educate his clients to make sure that they get the best out of what they need for their financial future and their security and their legacy for their families. So he's not doing it to sell the course, he's doing it to educate his customers that actually what they're doing may not be the right thing for them because he cares about the end result. He cares about what's happening to them. But of course, along the way, he's going to be nurturing a group of potential clients. They're going to get value in that. They're going to understand the process. They're going to learn about him and his mission and his business. They're going to get to know, like, and trust him. So it's a really good process for him to do that can run 24/7 in the background while he's off running his business. And that asset is bringing him potential clients in his business for the future. So I want want you to start to think about, what are you doing to bring people into your business? Because at the moment, I talk to a lot of business owners, and one of the things I hear all the time is, I don't have enough clients, and I'm not really getting any repeat business. I have no recurring revenue in my business. And that's why, is because you're not nurturing another round of clients. You're not creating assets that work for you 24/7 when you're not there. So Alex just did me a massive favor, and for myself and a few others in the industry, to go, hey, look, you need to be list building. Hey, look, you need to be creating assets for your business, because even if you don't sell them or give them away like he did, you're nurturing all your next round of clients, and your longer term business. So he's probably, from that one launch, probably got the next 4 to 5 years clients virtually mapped out. So I want you to think about, again, what to do. So building assets is really important. Like you said, ideally sell them, don't necessarily give them away, because I don't believe that everyone's at the stage where they should be giving them away in their business. But you start to create these pots of clients to work with in the future. And the other thing now is, also he gets to be selective of the type of clients he works with. So, they're not only going to be a pot of clients to choose from. He's going to be able to be selective. So he's going to watch some of their businesses grow. He's going to understand who they are. They're going to be in that process with him. And then, he'll watch some of these success stories come out as he gets more testimonials and more process from people that follow his results. He'll then be able to start to be selective of who he potentially works with. He'll be keeping an eye out for a certain type of client to work with, that he wants to work with, that probably implements, probably engages him. And then that means he will be able to select who he works with. So again, imagine having a business where you're fully booked out, but also, more importantly, you get to choose the clients that you work with. So the message here is super powerful. If you're in business, you all have knowledge and processes that can help your clients get some sort of results before they work with you, or to make the process of working with you easier. So don't be scared to turn them into assets. Give them away or sell them low ticket. Sell them. Get people onto your list that are buyers. The level of trust and credibility you build will bring your clients full circle, to want to work with you. So never be scared to give away your knowledge or skills, because people will always buy implementation. People will always buy additional support. People will buy to be in a community and be part of something. So again, even if you taught them everything you know in this process, a lot of them aren't going to implement it anyway, and they're going to want your help to implement it. So no matter how much you give away, no matter how much information or methods of the process you do, there's always going to be a number of clients that want to work with you. Like I said, to get that implementation, accountability, and even the community, to make the journey easier, maybe even more fun, more successful. Not everyone wants to go it alone. So, and not everyone has the discipline, like I said, to do the work. Many need that support and service, even if they have the information that they need to succeed. So, I want you to think about today with this podcast. Obviously, it's taken us slightly off track of building your long term wealth. But again, this is about building cash flow. It's about building your business and your income, but also having assets that work for you 24/7. Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about it all the time. What assets are you creating that actually help you grow? Whether that's helping your business grow, whether that's attracting in clients, whether that's making more sales and an additional income stream. What assets are you creating at the moment that can work for you 24/7? They can literally bring in new clients to you into your business over the next 2, 3 years. So that's my Alex Hormozi's plot twist and kind of thought provoking conversation around what he just did as a major successful launch. I'm sure if you put his name in Google, or even probably on Facebook at the moment, you'll see loads of different posts with different opinions and different ideas. But for me, it's about that core message that I bang on about to my clients all the time, is sometimes education and courses and books and things like that, assets, if you turn them into your own methodology and and process can be a huge asset to your business. It can open up other opportunities of income. It can create some more time freedom in your business. It can create potential clients. It could get you on stages, into press, whatever it is that you need to grow your income and your business. Creating assets like this is such the key. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's a slight kind of sidetrack for what I normally talk about on here on Iconic Wealth for Women, where obviously our goal is to empower you to grow your long-term wealth, not just your short-term income. But I couldn't resist this because Alex is one of those marketers that I've respected for a long time. I loved what he did, but really more importantly, I love the message that he created from this particular launch. So I hope you're out there now creating your assets. You're thinking about the knowledge, skills, and processes you have and how you can turn them into things that bring you in income on a regular basis. So that's it for me this week. I will be back on normal topic from next week. Bye for now.